Man, this is Deion Dawkins, man, and you're listening to The Scoop on OurScoop.com. You already know.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to The Scoop, the weekly podcast of OurScoop.com. We're on to our 39th episode of our 11th season. I'm your host, John DiCarlo. Assistant editor Kyle Gauss is back with us today. Ryan Mack with us as well, recording from home in Jersey. We've already seen his dog Sasha a couple of times. That's been a highlight of the day so far. So a little bit of a shorter show for you today. We'll talk a little bit more about Tyquise Barnes, Temple's first 2027 football verbal. You'll hear part of my interview with him. We'll talk about Adam Fisher's Temple men's basketball roster and where it stands now. We'll talk about what proposed college football playoff expansion could look like. We'll also tell you about a special guest that we have coming up next week, and we'll pay tribute to a lot of our past interns in the mailbag, thanks to a question from one of our loyal listeners, SHU Source. The Scoop, as it always is brought to you by Greenspan and Greenspan Injury Lawyers. If you've been injured while on the road or the highway, the crash was someone else's fault, the insurance company is not going to be on your side. You need us, Temple Law grads, who will fight hard to get the compensation that you deserve. We only get paid if we win. So in Pennsylvania or New York, call us today, 215-261-7359. That's 215-261-7359. And you can find them on the web at greenspans-law.com, greenspans-law.com. Also have a belated birthday shout out to my brother-in-law, Hal Parsons. His birthday was a few days before Chelsea's. Kyle got a kick out of you saying a devoted Scoop listener or whatever it was you said.
When was the last time she actually listened to an episode?
She did. She listened to the intro. She said, look, I'd be lying to you if I said I listened to the whole thing. But I was like, all right, counts, right? Does it count as a listen?
I don't know what the metrics, if they require a certain amount of time.
Yeah. Yeah. How's everybody doing?
Thriving.
Thriving. I told Kyle his hair looks nice.
Ryan, that's a fierce dog you have.
My younger brother calls her Sasha Fierce all the time.
And John, did we establish if you know what Sasha Fierce is?
No.
Okay.
Is that I don't know what Sasha Fierce. It's probably a pop culture reference I'm not getting.
It's not like a new thing, though, is the interesting aspect.
Yeah, John,
I have no idea if it's a musician. I have no idea if it's like a TikTok thing. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know. So
Beyonce's album, 2008, I Am Sasha Fierce.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, I remember that now, but I wouldn't have been able to recall that, obviously, until you guys told me that. So, okay. I don't know. Sometimes you guys talk about TikTok content. And
this isn't one of them.
This is
songs on that. If I Were a Boy was on that album. It's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
Halo.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I remember that now. Our special guest on next week's pod, so something to look forward to next week. Next week's episode is going to include our interview with former Temple and NFL quarterback PJ Walker. I would assume that most of you who are listening, or if not all of you who are listening to this podcast right now, know who PJ Walker is. He led Temple to the 2015 conference championship game against Houston. And then, of course, the memorable win over Penn State and Temple's near win against Notre Dame. And, of course, the quarterback in the 2016 American Conference Championship team. Went into the NFL as an undrafted rookie free agent with the Colts, then went to the XFL, landed in Carolina with the Panthers. So had 7 starts in 3 seasons with the Panthers, and then later made a couple of starts with the Browns before moving on to the CFL. He's back home down in the Charlotte area, I believe. So I was texting with him a little bit today, and we're very much looking forward to having him on the show. So we'll get some mailbag questions in from you guys. So something to look forward to next week. Ryan, did you watch PJ Walker growing up? Did you have any early memories of Temple football growing up before you came to Temple?
I've obviously the Notre Dame game. I remember watching that. I was at my friend Zach's house on Halloween, watching that game. Literally, all of us were like just huddled around, watching it.
You were rooting for Notre Dame.
Huh? No, I was rooting for Temple because since it was a Philly team, and I don't like Notre Dame. I can't root for Notre Dame ever.
Even though you
Lax
went
bros, you guys were just throwing the lax ball back and forth, talking about how you were going to play for Notre Dame one day.
Well, he went to his high school was called Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember watching them win the American when I was in seventh grade. No, I was sixth grade then. My fault.
What was a sixth grade Ryan Mack like?
Awful. I was
Just pent
not.
up emotions, just a
I was
ball of emotions.
like awful. Yeah, no,
I'll answer for you. He was a ball of emotions.
like quite literally. I was a menace as like little 12, 11, 12-year-old me. I was not nice. No, I
Not
was nice. I was
nice.
just a lot. No, I was nice. I was just a lot. I was a lot. I was just kind of like a lot of energy, kind of just going around everywhere. Like it was just a lot.
His body's changing. Look, he's going through a lot of that.
Would 11 or 12-year-old Ryan Mack have been friends with 11 and 12-year-old Kyle Gauss?
No, I would have bodied you.
You were in Muncie when you were 12?
No, I moved to Muncie when I was 13.
Okay.
Me and Babatunde Dorodola.
I would have been friends with you guys. So, well, Kyle's seen pictures of me from when I was 12.
John, what if 12-year-old you was in the same room with 12-year-old Ryan and 12-year-old me? You'd be like, wait a minute, you guys have phones in your pockets?
Yeah, man.
Like, what is this? You guys have running water? Like the culture shock would be so
water.
different. Like you grew up in a different world.
We had running water. We had landlines.
I had landline when I was 12. I got my first cell phone when I was 13.
Chelsea remarks about how many turtlenecks I'm wearing in pictures.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you would have been exposed.
We would have been, there's some sort of like B-level movie that could be made about you and I living in the same area in two different eras and be like, whoa, man, you guys have more than I did.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think you would adapt to in this scenario if you're coming to 2001. You say, whoa, what happened to the World Trade Centers? Like there'd be so many moments that just
Jesus.
like you would have culture shocks to. I was 12 years old.
On my Facebook, there's a picture that exists of a high school field trip that we took, and the twin towers in the background, and Kyle like to believe he's a good human being. Just it's on me. I've made the mistake of sharing photos with Kyle and photoshops them accordingly, or just looks at the
Another
raw
one.
material.
Another one of my favorite ones is this one with you and presumably your grandmother, where you just look like a 62-year-old woman.
It's so bad. It's so bad. I look like an extra from the Munsters that was immediately rejected in the first casting call. Like it's just not. It's not good. That's a bad picture. Oh, that's me stretching on a hotel floor.
Unbelievably dirty hotel floor. Yeah, there's no way that's a clean.
I remember what Meg said about that photo. We can't share it here on the pod. That was the trip up to Foxborough to cover that. I think that was Temple UMass in Foxborough.
Yes. Yep. Mansfield.
Yeah. Yeah, I was doing some back stretches, and Kyle was like, "What are you doing?" Oh, that's the one that.
That's I think that's like one of my favorite favorite one.
Anywho,
I need to start doing that with Colin.
Colin's now a ghost, and I never met him.
Rest in peace, Colin.
Colin's
Not one time.
Still very much alive.
Not to
back
me.
Home back home. Jesus. Back home in Annapolis.
He got removed from the group chat. He doesn't work at Owlscoop anymore.
Mm-mm.
Might as well not exist.
He told us
he's like text anymore.
Oh, stop it! That can't be true. You guys had an emotional goodbye. You told me.
Yeah, we were just texting like 20 minutes ago, so I can't even like hold that one. Like, yeah, we did. Me and Colin cried when we said goodbye.
That's fair. It's a sad moment.
Yeah.
When I left Alamos when I was a sophomore in college to go back to college, like I was just left for the summer, a guy I worked with got emotional saying goodbye to me. I'm gonna miss you, man. And I was like, ah, cool.
Did you cry back? Did you fake some?
No. I think I was like, yeah, I'll miss you too, man. Appreciate it. I thought of him again until right now.
Aww.
Nice guy.
We should say congratulations to Colin for graduating. Got to see him.
Congratulations, Collins, for graduating.
You butchered that.
I butchered it. Collins.
Got to see him. Took an action shot of him from the stage.
Saw that.
Yeah.
Which is a little unprofessional on your part. You're supposed to be up there as like a faculty member.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there.
Incognitos.
I told him to dap you up.
I was sitting in the back row. He would have had to awkwardly come to the back row and dap me up. So
that would have been nice. That would have been a nice moment.
Yeah.
Would have made the highlight reel. Johnny moment in Temple graduation.
Sung by Kyle Gauss instead of Luther Vandross.
I'm playing a kazoo during it.
I thought I'd play this is just a real short clip of my interview with Takis Barnes, a running back and defensive back from Pleasantville High School. We talked about him last week. He's Temple's first verbal commitment from the 2027 class. Had a chance to catch up with him this week. OwlScoop subscribers can get access to the full story on the front page now. He shared this cool anecdote with me about how he trains, and his father had a chance to sit down and talk to him and say, listen, I don't want you coming off the field this year because you get tired. This is your junior year. This is important for you. We're going to start running the Ocean City Bridge. And I asked him, I said, which one is it, the 9th Street or the 34th Street Bridge? He's like, the one that starts off in Summers Point. So he would just run about 6 miles back and forth on it and built up some endurance there. So he talks about that in the story. Again, OwlScoop subscribers can read the whole thing as part of their subscription. But this clip that we're playing here for you is just him talking about why he committed to Temple. He had his official setup for the weekend of June 12th. So about a month from now, a little less than a month from now. I just asked him why he pulled the trigger on an offer now. And he talked about his relationship with Andrew Pierce and the coaches. And of course, Malachi Timberlake being on Temple's staff, the former Pleasantville High School head coach. So here's a short piece of my interview. I know you had the official visit set up for June, but what made you kind of just pull the trigger earlier and commit now?
Mostly about the connection with the coach. Had a good connection with the running back coach. We talked over some months. Got some early work. And then, I just they visited the place not too long ago on a junior day. I liked it very much. And just like the connections with the coaches.
I know Andrew Pierce. I know he played at Cumberland High School, which is a lot more, not by the shore where you guys are, but he's done really well in recruiting South Jersey. Was it just really connecting with Coach Pierce? And I know you have some other connections to the Temple staff too that I want to ask you about, but was Andrew Pierce just really that big of a factor for you?
Yes, sir. It was that big of a factor. You know what I'm saying? Coming from New Jersey and stuff, he knew basically where New Jersey's about, and then, we just connected from there.
And obviously, Malachi Timberlake being on Temple staff, it doesn't get much closer than that. He coached at Pleasantville for a few years before your current coach. How much of a role did he play in your recruitment?
He played a big role. Being my head coach for 2 years, 2 to 3 years, just always being there for me. So that played a big role in the recruitment. It was a very important role in the recruitment process, and just always had my back, even when nothing was going right. All right,
again, OwlScoop subscribers can read the whole thing on the site. Also want to point you to a story that we also have up on the site. Kyle has done a good job of putting together a list of official visitors that are coming in those first 2 weekends in June. We'll continue to update it as new information comes in. But again, if you're an OwlScoop subscriber, you get access to that on the football board. I wrote about some of those visitors. Don't want to give that away for people who don't subscribe. But again, things are really going to start to pick up. If you remember last year, June was a very, very successful month for the program. A lot of official visitors started committing, committing together. Brody Norman, Brady Palmer, a couple of the quarterbacks around that time. That's when this class really started to form, and they were in pretty good shape coming out of the summer. And then they kind of could look at that point at what few players they were going to pick up in the fall and look at their portal needs and stuff like that. And this year, again, could be more of the same. There are a couple of local players that are there. There could be Temple leans that you'll learn about. Some players coming in from Ohio and Pittsburgh as well. So again, if you subscribe, you'll get access to the full story, and we'll have more to come there. Thought we'd talk a little bit about how you guys feel about potential college football playoff expansion, and whether this would help or hurt G5 programs, or things would stay around the same. The ACC seems to be in favor of it based on what's coming out of their meetings this week, and The Athletic is reporting that the Big 12 favors it if the economics made sense.
Those two do not matter.
Yeah.
Like voting wise, legitimately. If the SEC and the Big 10 don't approve it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So congrats, ACC and Big 12.
Yeah. They're getting their word out there. They're trying to stay relevant in the conversation. So, doing what they can. So if this happens, it would start the season earlier on week 0 for everyone. Again, if you're a big college football fan, it's that August, week before everyone else really starts. So it would eliminate the second open date or bye week in the season. It would also eliminate conference championship games. It would move the Army Navy game up a week. I'd spoken with just a national source about how this person thinks it might affect the G5 programs, and he said it really just depends on what parameters they would install and how much they would tilt things to the P4 conferences. We're assuming that everything would get tilted, or a lot would get tilted toward the P4. But, a strong year in the American like last season might lead to multiple bids, but most years, this person told me, you're probably looking at the American, the Pac-12, maybe one of Mountain West Conference or the Sun Belt vying for maybe 2 or 3 spots. But how do you guys feel about this?
It would essentially be 24 at-large bids, right?
Yes.
And then in the event that a group of 6, there's no group of 6 good team that year, then there's like one automatic bid. Because at the very least, there's one group of 6 team. I think it's really dumb to get rid of conference championships.
Yeah, I kind of do too.
Like, it's one thing if you're telling me like the SEC and the Big 10, and the ACC and the Big 12, like they want to get rid of it because they want to get their teams set up for the playoffs. You're going to tell me like the Sun Belt and the American can't crown a conference champion? That eliminates the real like reason for most of these teams competing. Because if Temple's on the right track and they start to stack together some good years and this program gets back to where it was in 2015, 2016, it's still not going to all of a sudden be like, we won 2 games in the college football playoffs. The goal is to win the conference. So to eliminate those, it seems like exactly what everyone always assumed, which is these are decisions being made by the Power 4 conferences that are going to have negative ramifications for the group of 6 conferences. So I think this is just yet another wedge in, do these 2 entities split apart?
I agree. I think about that too, because if you don't have a conference championship game and then you don't get a spot in the field of 24, what have you played for?
Yeah, what was the point?
It's like we went
imagine if you're if you're the MAC and you don't have a conference championship anymore, and Miami, Ohio goes 10-2, and they would have won the championship. A 10-2 MAC team is still not going to make the college football playoffs because they'll be the American will make it, or the Pac-12 or Sun Belt. So then you're thinking literally, I just had a good year and nothing came of it. No trophy came of it. No difference was between me going 10-2 and Bowling Green going 6-6. We both went to a bowl game, and that was that. Seems dumb.
What would you guys do if you had a magic wand, or if somebody said you guys are making the decision here? How would you run this?
Contract the college football playoff to 8 teams. I hate the expansion of all this. With 24, you're talking one out of every 5.5 teams is going to make the college football playoffs now. That, it seems too much to me. I mean, if you're adamant that it's going to go to 24, then start the season a week earlier and don't get rid of conference championships. That would be the trade-off to me. If you were just hey, we're expanding to 24, and there might be years that 2 or 3 group of 6 teams make it. I just don't like the idea of somebody not being able to say that they're the American Athletic Conference champion.
I think it's stupid. In the nicest way possible. I
wasn't
a big fan of it going to 12 in the first place. I think if you're going to expand, going from 4, rather go from 4 to 8 than from 4 straight up to 12. And I think if you're going to expand now, I wouldn't go from 12 to 24. I would go from 12 maybe to 16. I also don't like the fact that you are going to be taking away conference championships. These group of 6 schools, that's their main thing. They want to win the conference. You want to win the American Conference. You want to win the Sun Belt. You want to win that. And then I also don't think it's going to be like when we talk the NCAA tournament kind of expanding. Was it really going to be doing than just adding a bunch of 3-4 loss SEC team into it? I don't think this is as much of a conversation if 2 group of 6 schools this year didn't make, and JMU and Tulane didn't make it to the college football playoff this year. People were mad about that, and now it's a bigger thing than it has to be because Power 4 schools didn't make it because their team got beat out by Tulane.
I think to that point, exactly what's going to happen is there's going to be one year, whether it's 2027 or 2028 or whatever, where the American champion, the American, the Sun Belt, and whatever, the Pac-12, all they get 3 teams in. And people are going to focus on the fact that the American champion lost by 30 to whatever, and they're going to ignore the fact that an 8-4 Illinois team lost by 24. Yeah. So then they'll just focus on even though they're going to say, well, it's just the top 24 teams, and like this is more access for a group of 6 teams. In practice, it won't be. Fast forward 2 years, and then just those ratings will end up being like, we can't put like 2 group of 6 teams in. Like, let's start like pulling it back. Like, this is going to be the same crap as the NCAA basketball tournament, where they're going to present it as more access, when in reality it means more access for the power conferences.
Yep. See how things go there. Thought it'd be fun to switch that around for a little bit.
I think there should be relegation. Like, yeah, go in. Guess what? If you go to the college football playoffs, an 8-4 Big Ten team, and you lose by 20 points, next year you're playing in Canada. Like, just
It's a bold idea that we will discuss in the future.
I'm also not above a Hunger Games like situation.
Oh, wow. Was not expecting that one.
Let's talk about Adam Fisher's men's basketball program. Nothing has changed on that front. No portal additions since last week. They still have 3 open scholarship spots on the roster. Question I want to ask you guys is, as much as we have said, hey, like fans are clamoring for bigs, what is your level of concern for the team on May 13th, and that they really only have one true big on the roster right now, and Sir Isaac Heron? We've talked about how on paper the guard depth looks pretty good. It looks, again, on paper like they could have a better and deeper backcourt than they did this past season. We'll see. But what do you think of this? You still see them getting out? Again, we know that they don't have a monster budget to bring in a holy crap type of name that's going to shock everybody. But where do you think they are or could be at this juncture in terms of getting more front court depth?
Adam Fisher's like a kid in Blockbuster, Christmas of 1988. He's digging through it, looking for big. I think
That's a great movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I'm very much of like the opinion that like there's no point in judging the roster until the roster is complete. That being said, I do fear that they've followed kind of like the same path as previous years, where maybe whether it's through an intentional effort or just missing out on some potential prospects, that like they're gonna have to kind of backfill this roster with bigs. Like I think Sir Isaac Heron can absolutely play at this level. I don't think he's a 25-minute a game, start him 32 games and like in the post guy, but I think he's absolutely a rotational big. I just wonder, like, you need to bring in one, if not 2 guys that you would be comfortable starting. And I'm not sure how many of those there are left. So they might be creative, whether that's through like the JUCO ranks or international, or really kind of trusting their scouting on some lower level guys. I think On3 had an article today that said, like, if you're like a big that can play at the Power 4, Power 5 level, you're getting $2 million a year. Yeah. Even if you're just like a 10-minute a game guy at the Power 5 level, you're getting $2 million a year. So I think Temple's going to get really creative with how they fill out the rest of the spots. So I think it's perfectly reasonable to be a little worried about it. But I also go back to my initial gut reaction. I'll judge it when the roster's complete.
Kind of like the same thing. Just want to see how they end up going about it. I wouldn't be shocked, like you see it like a couple like Adam Fisher's first year where they had to get creative, like bring Sam Hoffman. He didn't come in until August. Not saying that that's something that you want to do again. Same with 2 years ago when Baba came in, that was until mid-August, and that's something that they've had to do previously. That's something that do not want to keep going back to and keep making it a habit, because then we end up seeing how when they played big teams those first 2 years, how badly they were beat down low. Same thing last year. They went out and tried to get bigs into my field and everything like that. So I'm really just kind of curious to see how they end up like kind of constructing it. Don't want to say anything until we see this team like fully, whether that's like in August, September.
It's a good point in bringing up Baba. Like, could they go that route again where you get somebody to reclass and say, hey, you can come in here and play right away? Maybe that's a reason to go to the high school ranks. But yeah, it's an interesting spot to be in.
You know what I'd be curious, and this is legitimately me guessing, like this isn't source whatsoever. If things start to keep going down this path, do you maybe reach out to Mokita?
You might have to.
Like,
well,
yeah,
we got a
okay.
mailbag question about it last week, and I believe it was last week, right, Ryan, where somebody said, is there any chance that Mo would come back? And I think our answer was essentially like, most likely not, unless they get to a spot in a few weeks, a month, or wherever in the summer, and they're looking at maybe 12 roster spots, and they're kind of in the same room looking at each other, and
Just to be clear, I was on last week's episode.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks ago. Did we?
No, it was last week.
It was last
what I'm
week.
saying
I
is,
remember Kyle answering it.
what I'm saying is, I think I've changed my opinion a little bit in the last week. I
Oh,
think
okay.
initially I was like, the only way it works is like if he kind of reaches back out. I was like, hey, I didn't find a spot. I just want to get like getting a degree. I'm starting to wonder if they're like, hey, we know what we have with him, even if he's just like 5-10 minutes a game. There's still value in the 13th roster spot.
I got my calendar mixed up in my head because I know there were the 2 weeks. You
also earlier this episode said welcome back, Kyle, and I was here last week.
I got to do better. It's interesting food for thought because it is really, really. I mean, Kyle said it right there. I mean, if there are bigs that are 10-minute a game, guys that are averaging in single digits in points and rebounds that are going for $2 million, I don't know. A few different routes they could potentially go there, like Kyle said, whether it's the JUCO route or whether it's like a Babatunde Doradol situation, like Ryan said, where somebody reclassifies. We shall see. But again, they're at 10 scholarship players right now with 3 more to go. So maybe we'll have more next week. Stay tuned. Wanted to add real quickly, we'll have another, maybe 1 or 2 more installments of Varun Kumar's series on the 2001 Elite 8 team, which has really essentially become a book. Like the total file on this thing is like, it's like 65, 70,000 words. He has essentially written a small book on this.
Our L-Scoop database, our server rack can't handle the size of it.
We need a bigger
thousands of dollars in cooling.
We need a bigger drive. We need a drive that can handle Varun stories. So, but once this is done, and again, the level of reporting and just research, and he's literally gone back and rewatched these games. It's just insane. So once it's done, we'll have Varun on to talk about it again. Like if you haven't had the chance to meet him, he's just, again, a guy that went to Pitt, but just grew up loving Temple. And so wanted to let you know that we will have at least 1, probably 2 more installments of that. Before we jump into the mailbag, we're going to read our weekly safety tip from our friend Mike Greenspan of Greenspan and Greenspan Injury Lawyers. If you need a good injury lawyer, he's there for you, but Mike wants to keep you safe in life and on the roads so that you don't need his services. So here's Mike's weekly tip, and then we're going to hop into the mailbag.
If you have the misfortune of being involved in a car crash, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is not seeking medical treatment. Look, let's face it. Most of us were in that situation where I think, I'm okay, I don't have to worry about it. Don't think like that. Go to an urgent care and get checked out. And the reason is this. If you are truly okay and just a little sore, fantastic. All you've done is spent an hour in an urgent care. But if you're not, and you have delayed treatment, the insurance company for the vehicle that did that to you is going to hold it against you. So, get yourself checked out. Make sure you're okay. And if you're not, then you will need to know about seeking a lawyer. Stay safe on the road and go Owls.
A few questions to get to this week, and one from our friend SHU Source that we'll close the show out with. It's a nice question. Appreciate it because he asked us to.
Sasha!
What was that?
Sasha growling. Sasha being fierce.
I thought that was you moving your mic and then blaming it on the dog.
No, Sasha. I would never blame a dog for things like that.
First mailbag question here comes from Twitter, the Lambert Trophy account on Twitter. Has Temple's biggest football rival changed since joining the American? I don't know who their biggest football rival really is or was since like before joining the American and when they were in the MAC. Again, this is not a regional rivalry, but I'd say a program before when they were in the MAC, it was like a school like or a program like Ohio was kind of like a team that would beat them later on in the year and prevent them from getting to a conference championship. But I don't know if like that has become Navy. I don't know. I'm going to feed right into the...
Real quick, I don't want to glance over the fact that the Lambert Trophy, which is the award given to the best FBS team in the Mid-Atlantic, is the one that tweeted this to us.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. Fantastic. Means more people know about us.
To answer the question, I think Temple is in the situation where the teams you would consider its rivals, even over the last like 10, 15, 20 years, none of them would consider Temple the biggest rival. Yeah. It's kind of like Penn State, where like all of Penn State's biggest rivals, like you're like number 2 or number 3 to them, because like Ohio State doesn't give a crap about Penn State. So my gut would say like Penn State, Rutgers, neither of them are going to be like, oh, this is Temple, like Temple's a rival. So I go down a level, and I'll go, okay, in conference, Navy. Navy's obviously not going to consider Temple its biggest rival. I wonder if it's still UConn. Like it's one of like those
Yeah.
teams. But I don't think it's changed. So to answer the question, I don't think like all of a sudden there's a rivalry with UTSA, right? I think it's still the same as it was 10, 15 years ago, where Temple's
Yeah.
in limbo.
That's a good one to throw out there. I mean, and during the Al Golden era, it got sparked when they really got screwed over on that call where Bruce Francis clearly got one foot down in the back of the end zone and they rolled him out.
Right.
And
Then there was the Donald Brown game in like a hurricane.
yeah, that was 2008, I believe.
Yeah.
That was the year. Was that the year that UConn went to the Fiesta Bowl?
Yes.
Yeah. So, interesting question. Love the fact that the Lambert Trophy account is tweeting questions at us. So I don't know. Maybe we got a new contributor to the mailbag.
UConn went to the Fiesta Bowl in 2010,
2010. Okay. Okay.
which I think they lost to Temple that year. They did. The
Yeah.
year they went to the Fiesta Bowl, they lost to Temple.
I think Donald Brown was still on that team, right?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Sounds right.
Who do you think their rival is in the American if they have one?
So I'm saying I think like Navy.
Yeah.
It's just that Navy's obviously going to view Army above that.
Why am I drawing a blank on the defensive coordinator from Notre Dame who became UConn's head coach, who's ridiculous?
Bob Diaco.
Bob Diaco, where he wanted to create the conflict trophy between UConn and UCF, was it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's that. There was. I think that trophy's still somewhere, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But like, look, I mean, Temple had the Mayor's Cup, but then they just stopped awarding the Mayor's Cup when they did the Mayor's Cup.
Yeah.
Like last time Temple played Villanova, they just didn't give out the trophy.
Yeah. Quick one to answer, and then I want to make sure Kyle's around for this
Yeah,
last one. Well, you know what? Let's get to that one first. So SHU source, a screen name from the message boards, said, I feel like considering they have bottle caps to spend, Adam Fisher and the basketball staff have been able to attract a pretty talented group to campus so far. What do you guys think? We've kind of talked about where the roster is already. They've got 3 spots left to fill, like the guards. Bigs are incomplete. Second part of SHU source's question also was Colin rolling off the scoop and remembering the lasting impression left by the late great Matt Vender. Can you give us a quick where are they now run through of the past 7 or 8 years worth of student hosts? And it's fun to see these young people heading off into the world, but it's also bittersweet when they roll off the show. I know I'm not the only one who enjoys them on the pod. So first of all, thank you. It's very sweet of you to say that. Our buddy Javon Edmonds is at the Syracuse Post-Standard, Syracuse.com, has the just the sheer privilege of covering Fran Brown on the Syracuse football beat. Patul Philp, one of our interns from the fall, I know that she wasn't on the pod, but did some stuff for us. She interned with us this fall, just graduated, wanted to shout her out. Our buddy Caden Steele always said he wanted to be an Eagles beat reporter. He is now an Eagles beat reporter with NJ.com, so he's doing well. Jason Yavis just graduated, was interning at the Inquirer in a social media and engagement role, and he just graduated last week. Want to congratulate him. Of course, our buddy Sam Cohn is at the Baltimore Sun, Ravens beat reporter, general assignment guy, doing well there. Our buddy Johnny Zawizlak, still a clubhouse attendant with the Phils, and I don't know if he's doing – I'm supposed to get together with them pretty soon. I don't know if he's still doing the visiting Bat Boy gig with it, but I think he's doing more of like the visiting clubhouse attendant thing, but that's what he's doing right now. Sam Newman with awful announcing, just continuing to piss people off left and right with media commentary, and he's doing a podcast with them as well. Our buddy Declan Landis, Kyle's guy, is an academic advisor at Klein College. He is a huge help to me there. He's also doing some freelance stuff. He's done some stuff down at the University of Delaware and Penn Live. Speaking of Penn Live, you got Ramir Vaughn is there covering high school stuff. Graham Foley, another one of Kyle's guys. Not that he's not my guy. Downingtown guy.
Don't lump Graham in with Declan. Don't devalue my love for Declan.
You love giving Graham a hard time. Graham
Yes.
is the social media manager with the Philadelphia Flyers. So he obviously had a lot of fun this year with the season that they had, kind of rejuvenated the fan base. Our buddy Dalton Balthaser, who used to host the pod, and every week would say my weekly weekend warriors. He always had like his little thing at the beginning. My weekly fourth meal guys. Like he always used to come up with his crafty intro. He's an assistant director of communications at the Golf Association of Philadelphia.
Dalton's a Kyle guy.
Yeah.
Ryan, maybe someday you'll be a Kyle guy.
That's what he's hoping for.
I really hope so. It's actually it's one of my I have a post-it note as goals, and that's actually one of my goals.
I enjoy that you're storyboarding. Crazier things have happened. Miracle on Ice. We landed on the moon. We'll see if you can
You're like,
earn my love.
those are some tough odds.
That was crazy. That was crazy.
Two others, and I'm probably forgetting a few people. Two other people I wanted to shout out. Danielle Brown, if you go way back several years, interned for us, is now senior director at JPA Health. She just had her first baby, so congratulations to Danielle. Used to do a lot of recruiting coverage for us and game sidebars. Jamie Gray, another Kyle Gauss guy, avid marathon runner. He's an account executive at Graphic Packaging International, so he's like in the media comms space. And Jamie was awesome too. Jamie had that story about like spraining his ankle and getting into an Uber, and this guy prayed over him or something like that. I don't know why.
He sprained his ankle by trying to jump down the stairs to catch a subway.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Kyle, will
Was he
you be
really?
releasing any like a intern rankings list?
well, I wasn't included in the year reviews. If I had been included in the year reviews, we would have metrics on exactly how I feel about all of you.
Ryan looks legitimately stressed.
Oh no.
So you didn't submit this for credit this semester, did you, Ryan?
No, thank God. I don't want to know. I don't want to know
All right, because I have some opinions,
what
and I know I do have to drop. Good talking to you guys.
All right.
Bye.
How about Kyle with the sounded like a Smartless Pod sign off there. So
Kyle scares me sometimes. I love him so much. He scares the shit out of me.
he loves you.
Sasha.
And in this last part of the pod before we sign off,
Sasha.
Ryan is scalding Sasha, but I love it. She can do no wrong in my eyes, by the way. So be kind to her. Last question we wanted to get to here, and we can talk about this in a little bit more depth in the coming weeks. I figured someone would ask about this. Temple Owls alum 1620. This is from the message board. Question related to your retweet on athletic department revenue. Assuming those numbers are accurate, how can Temple generate the reported second highest athletic department revenue in the American Conference, but be bottom third in revenue sharing spend? I get there can be expenditure line items relative to a specific school, but it seems like there's a disconnect from a zoomed out view. Thanks as always for being a sounding board to us crazy fans. Well, thank you, Temple Owls alum 1620, for submitting the question. So it's a good question. And this is, I apologize in advance, this is going to be the sort of boring answer in response, and maybe we can get some more, details for you in the coming weeks. But, this came from a tweet from Jeff Fuller on Twitter, who claims to be data and stats junkie, and he put this out on Twitter. The tweet was about, again, revenue brought in. New EADA grand total revenue for fiscal year 2025 for all FBS schools, military academies don't report. And so Temple came in, USF came in at 61st with $122.1 million in reported revenue. And then Temple came in at 171st, 71st, second, third, fourth, 76th. So the second in the American at $71.2 million. The only thing we could reasonably assume here is that their expenditures are just as great as their revenues, if not higher. So that would be my short answer. And I know that's what you're getting at here and assuming. Again, I do not expect anybody in the Temple Athletic office. I don't expect Arthur Johnson to hand over a PDF of their line item budget. That would be my educated guess. Of course, they have expenses in terms of what they pay coaches, what they pay to play at Lincoln Financial Field. So that number looks good at first. Of course, it pales a little bit in comparison to what USF brings in. Again, as Temple Owls alum is saying here, there can be expenditure line items. And I would say that that's a lot of what it is. Each year, you can get a look at what some of the most highest paid employees are at the university, and you have some coaches up there. So you can piece together some numbers in terms of, public filings, what they pay to play at the link, what they pay some of their coaches. But yes, that revenue number looks decent, but I'd be lying and would be intellectually dishonest if we said we knew what their total expenditures were. So that, I think, is your answer there. And it seems like from what we've been told that they've been given a little bit more of a commitment for rev share this year. As Kyle said last week, it still doesn't put them near the top of the conference in rev share spending for basketball, but It's a slight improvement. So we'll see again next week. Hopefully we'll have maybe a player or two more to talk about in terms of bigs as they continue to fill out this roster. If Ryan is recording again from home next week, maybe we'll hear more from Sasha. What is she doing? Is she just barking?
No, she's currently a little bit. She's also being a menace with Murray right now
Oh,
because Murray is currently he's perched up on the couch,
oh
just
my
like
God,
minding
my
his own
guy.
business, just quiet. And she's been barking at me because she's one to play. So I've been trying like if you see me when I'm muted and you see me like my arm moving, it's because I've been throwing
Yeah.
things to like kind of like occupy her. It's just me today at the crib. And then we're talking, and then she kept trying to mess with Murray. And then Murray started growling at her, started showing teeth. He doesn't really like her that much, like full transparency,
Well,
not
how
at
long
all.
how long
So
have they had together? It's 8 months now, 9 months, more than a year.
actually, this past like on Mother's Day, the day like the six that was on Mother's Day was the day we got her a year ago. Like
Okay.
that day, like the 10th, 11th, that was the exact day we got her.
They might need a little bit more time together. Maybe
Oh
they'll
yeah.
click.
Yeah.
They'll
Yeah,
click.
no, it's also too Murray's just older too, so he doesn't
Yeah.
like Murray's old. He doesn't like a lot of things.
Does he like sleep? Does he like food? Is it just the basic stuff?
He likes to sleep. He also likes me and my dad.
Yeah.
Like he's like we're like the only people that like he'll like listen to.
Yeah. I mean,
And
like
like he'll kind of follow
I like
around.
Tony Mac. I'm a big Tony Mac fan. You got to be a fan. You got to be a fan of Tony Mac. So, all right. Well, maybe
Yeah.
we'll hear more from Ryan and the Pups next week. I mean, we'll hear from Ryan, but if he's on location live in Jersey, maybe we'll hear more about the dogs. So, thank you all for the mailbag questions this week. Again, do not miss next week's episode. You're going to hear a good part of our interview with former Temple and NFL quarterback PJ Walker. We're looking forward to that. And of course, we'll have any additional recruiting information, recruiting developments that come our way. So thanks again for sticking with us for another episode. We'll talk to you next week.